Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. I have some wonderful news for you. The Prime Minister of Barbados, Mottley, has came out and demanded that Africa and the Caribbean abolish visa requirements for its citizens traveling from the Caribbean to Africa and from Africa to the Caribbean. Prime Minister has said, make visa, let's end visa travel between Africa and the Caribbean. This is wonderful news, my friends. I will let you know exactly what the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mottley, said. But, my friends, this is wonderful news because the mission of my channel is to bridge the gap between the African continent and the African diaspora. So I fully support the Prime Minister of Barbados, Miss Mottley, in what she said. It is time for us to bridge the gap between the African continent and the African diaspora. Barbados Prime Minister Mottley has called for the complete abolition of visa requirements between African and Caribbean nations, urging for unrestricted movement among their people. Speaking on the deep historical, cultural, and economic ties between the two regions, she emphasized that it is unjust for citizens of Africa and the Caribbean to face barriers when visiting each other, especially given their shared ancestry and struggles. Mottley stressed that visa movement is essential for the strengthening trade, collaboration, and unity among descendants of those who endured the colonization and slavery, and she called for the leaders to act decisively to remove these outdated restrictions. My friends, Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, is not just talking. She has made it visa-free for African nations, 40-something African nations, to visit Barbados. And I will let you know what this story actually says, my friends, because Mia Mottley is not just talking, she is showing actions. Barbados visa policy for African nationals. Barbados has implemented visa policy for African nations. Barbados has significantly relaxed its visa requirements for many African countries in recent years. Visa-free access for Africans as of 2025. Nationals from 49, there's 53 or 54 African countries. I think it's 54 African countries. 49 of those African countries are exempt from needing a visa to enter Barbados, which means they can just take their passport and travel to Barbados visa free. The problem comes with the direct flights, but I am told Barbados and Ghana is working on something right now. Hopefully they can get direct flights so that I can travel via Barbados to Africa instead of going through the Europe or America. In 2019, my friends, the Barbados government, led by Prime Minister Mottley, specifically abolished visa requirements for passport holders of several African countries. To name but a few: Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Ghana, Liberia, Morocco, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal. This is in 2019. She abolished visa visa requirement for these countries, which means previous to 2019, these countries needed a visa to go to Barbados. But 49 African countries in all can visit Barbados visa free. These changes are part of a broader effort to strengthen ties between Africa and the Caribbean, making it easier for Africans to travel, trade, and invest in Barbados. Man, this is wonderful news. This is wonderful news coming from Barbados, my friends. Let me know what you think about this topic of the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Amor Mottley, calling for the total abolition of visas when it comes to Africans visiting the Caribbean and Caribbean nationals visiting Africa. It is time, my friends, for us to come together and work together as one. Build each other, strengthen each other. That is why I started this channel. The mission of my channel is to bridge the gap between our motherland, Africa, and its diaspora, which the largest part of the African diaspora is the Caribbean regions. We have many island nations who are led by Africans here in the Caribbean. Majority of the islands in the Caribbean are like over 90% black African ethnicity. So there's no reason why we cannot work together with our motherland, Africa. It is taking too long. It is time to get direct flights and trade ships moving back and forth from Africa to the Caribbean and from the Caribbean to Africa. Let us not drag our feet on this. Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Amor Mottley, has said it is time for us to abolish these ridiculous visa requirements that was put in place by the colonialists, our former colonial masters, the British, the French, the Dutch, the Portuguese, who ruled these islands in the Caribbean and African countries with an iron fist during colonization. They put all of these requirements, visa requirements, in place and ensured that we cannot trade with each other and we cannot visit each other. And we don't know anything about each other because the education system in the Caribbean and Africa did not teach us anything about each other. It's only now through the internet and YouTube that many of us are getting to know each other, whether in the Caribbean island nations or in Africa. Before the internet, think about it, before we had internet, for those of you watching from the Caribbean, did you know anything about Africa? What did you know about Africa? Apart from what they showed you on CNN and BBC and all the Western news channels. And if you're watching from Africa, what did you know about the Caribbean? Apart from what the Western channels show you, if they showed you anything at all. If you're watching from the United States and Canada and the UK, what did you know about Africa before the internet? Very little. What they showed us on TV. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s in the Caribbean, and what they showed us on TV is feed the children. You had poor, starving children in the desert, sick and hungry. That is all they showed us about Africa. And you had these white Europeans coming from Europe and America and delivering foods. They're coming to rescue Africa. That is all they showed us, the image of a poor, impoverished, weak, struggling Africa. And the Europeans are coming to assist. That is the message they tried to get across to us. And it worked. Brainwashed the whole Caribbean and the world until the internet came. YouTube came. I think YouTube started in 2006, I think. But it was only until after 2010 YouTube started to pick up. And people started to get to know the real Africa. I was inspired to start this YouTube channel by an African. Those of you, many of you know Wadamaya, famous Ghanaian YouTuber who goes around the different African cities and countries and even the Caribbean nations in recent times showing Africa and the Caribbean. I was inspired by that young African. When I saw the beautiful videos of him going around, I said, wow, I'm loving this. I never knew Africa was so beautiful. I could do something like this. So then I started my YouTube channel 5 years ago because I was inspired by an African in Africa, showing Africa. Imagine that. And that is testament to us giving each other education and empowering each other through knowledge, through trade, through travel, through everything. Once we get to know each other, things will be much better, my friends. If you're watching for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel. The mission, I said, of my channel is to bridge the gap between the African continent and the African diaspora. You can also join my channel and become a channel member by clicking this link in the description box and sign up and join the channel. This will help to support the journey of bridging the gap between the African continent and the African diaspora. I also have a travel channel specially created to do travel vlogs and travel information, particularly between Africa and the Caribbean. And the link is in this description box. You can go on over and subscribe to that channel. I think I have about 5-6 videos up already. Make sure to subscribe to that channel. Thank you for watching today, and let me know what you think about this topic of Mia Amor Mottley calling for the unrestricted travel between Africa and the Caribbean to Mother Africa. Comment your thoughts and opinion. Let's have a wonderful interactive conversation. Let me know what you think about this video. Make sure to like the video, share it with all your friends and family. My name is Beyond. This is Beyond Uncut, and every day I come here to speak to you about breaking news that affect the African continent and the African diaspora. Thank you for watching today, and I will see you again tomorrow in the next video. Much love and bye-bye. Happy Sunday.